In this video, I am describing pattern reversals. Primarily, I'm going to be dealing with trend red, low angles, low angle up or low angle down, or at least trend red is where we start out at. I've got 4 charts that I'm going to show you that I've picked examples off of, and this video is a good video to refer back to get clarification on this pattern type, because low angle downs and low angle ups are just fantastic, high probability. In this case, they're all down, so they reverse, so they're all price up examples. In this first video, in this first chart, we are in Qualcomm, QCOM, and I have 3 examples that I'm dealing with. The one on the right has a trend red going up. You might say it's a low angle up. Some people, this is almost like a bottom of cycle rather than because it is a little bit higher than a low angle, but I still think of it as a low angle, I guess. Along with this, we have zip green at 100, and the next closest thing to it is zip Zion. So this is a in that pink green bottom category, but it's with zip Zion rather than zip pink, and they operate a little bit differently, but in many ways they're the same. Along with this low angle up in trend red, we have a low angle up in power red, and we have an up in both swing pink and swing Zion. And if you'll notice also, we are dealing with a red peak. And I want to point this out because sometimes people misunderstand patterns. And how can we tell that, like for example, zip red right now is at 68 and zip yellow is at 31. So that qualifies for a red peak. Why does it not go down the next day? And there's a couple different answers to that question, but the primary one is a large pattern. And if you look at it from the yellow line where the next example starts, from the yellow line to this right red vertical line is a 6-day. Well, I'd have to get the bottom, I'd have to move this over 1 day, so then it's a 5-day right leg W pattern in trend red. And so if you have had a chance to look at any of the right leg W pattern videos, you know that there is a lot of emphasis placed in the spring reaction or the power reaction in the stock to move that value higher for longer periods of time. Now, typically, we have, like for example, if I had a right leg pattern, this one here is 5 days. The one behind it is also a right leg pattern. And that one looks like it's about 15 or 16 days, whatever the number of candles are in between them. And that would be real typical of what I'm going to talk to you about, and that is If you look, the next day we have a green candle, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 days to this top green candle in which we go up in price. Over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 days from the first red vertical line to the second red vertical line. And the correlation I'm trying to make is that that distance between your right leg pattern and your climb after the right leg pattern is oftentimes really close. And so in this case here, the right red vertical line goes up for 16 days. And this is why your red peak ends up not working, but it's easily, if you recognize what's behind it or around the situation, you can see why it works the way it does. And it's easy too, you know, you're sitting here, let's say let me move this over. Let's say you're sitting here the next day on this yellow candle. You've made a decision to stay in the market even though you got a red peak. And what happens? It gaps up just a little bit, but it's not much. And we know from our basic premise, when it gaps up, it usually goes up. So a gap up is always a good move in a uptrend situation. I mean, unless it's going to gap up $5 or $10, then it's likely to go down the same day or even the next day. But I think you understand what I'm trying to tell you. And so from that perspective, we can see that on the open the next day it would gap up, so we would stay in it. If by chance you on this first day you saw that red peak and you didn't see the big right leg W pattern, then you got out. As soon as the open came the next morning, it would be logical to get back in because it did gap up. So a guy, after you've done this for many years, you see these things virtually right away, but it does take a while. There's a learning curve in identifying with this system, but the system is fantastic. It just is, it will amaze you on what you can see. Now going over to the yellow line, we have a trend red down, basically in a spike, but we have power red up, and we have both swing Zion down, swing pink up. So we got some divergence there, so that's a good indication. And there's plenty of divergence in the power chart with red is up, but it looks like almost all the rest are down except for power Zion. And the same is true in your zip chart. You've got the red, or excuse me, you've got, yeah, the red, the yellow, the blue, and the gray up, and you got pink down. You got Zion down. So there's just a significant amount of divergent activity on your low angle down or low angle up patterns on this yellow vertical line. And it leads to two really nice up days. The other one, the third day, looks like it gaps down, but then it goes back up almost to the same price. The third one here is a trend red low angle up, power red is low angle up, and swing pink is low angle up, but swing Zion is low angle down. And again, we got divergence. Here's a case where zip Zion is coming back down in the pink-green bottom pattern here, and the zip pink is at 1.29, and blue is at 5, yellow is at 29, and red is at 16, gray is at 10. So they are, this is a classic pink green bottom position. The middle on the day before everything goes up here, the red, the blue, and the gray go up, and pink stays down. And we do have some divergence in the zip yellow down and zip blue up in that pair. So that tells us that it's going to go up. It doesn't go up the first day very well, but it starts to climb. Looks like we got 4 or 5 days, and if a guy keeps hanging on, you got 7 or 8 days in there. Once that pink gets above, typically you would think it's going to go down, but you can pick up this day right here and see that the price didn't drop much and the pink didn't either, zip pink, so it's logical that it would continue up, especially since you got power yellow lowest, because if you remember from, if you've seen any of the zip yellow and power yellow line example videos, when they're lowest and going up, the price goes up. Now that one is, I'm going to go to the next one here and move on as quickly as I can. This one on the pink vertical line, this one has price red as the lowest line. Green is at 10, and red is at 2, and blue is at 5. Whenever red crosses under blue, that's usually a good indication. The price on this pink vertical line is right under the green line, the green 20 moving average line. And so there's a significant gap up next day, but you have a low angle down in the trend red, you have a low angle down in the power red, you have a low angle down in the swing red, and let me look at swing pink. I forgot to do that. Swing pink is low angle down also. I'm going to comment too, when you have 2 or 3 days like this is here with swing pink, low angle down 3 days in a row, it creates like a flat bottom, and you'll see usually pretty significant rises after that. There's one right over here in the opposite direction. Trend red is a low angle up for 3 days, and it goes down, but it doesn't go down much, and primarily the reason is that your trend trio is really climbing fast, and the day that it goes down, the trio hits 0. So there's not much of a red candle there, but you get the idea of what we're of how these, or hopefully you get the idea of how these things are working. And Zip Zion is the same way. Zip Zion, Zip the pink green bottom on this pink vertical line day. The Zip pink is at 1.92, and again that's lowest. I think the red's at 10, gray's at 8. The yellow line here is a the main reason I just wanted to mark it as a red spike. It's just a classic red spike, and it's and just for the emphasis that trend yellow is above 0, which means things are going to go up. And next day it goes from 97.32 to 98.99, almost 99 even. So that's about $1.70 it goes up on a $97 stock. So that's close to 2% in one day. This second yellow line on the left is a lower low angle down trend red. I'll point out while I'm here that we're in about a 5-day low angle down. I said that wrong. We're in about a 5-day right leg W lower leg pattern. And lower legs do not have the power that right leg W higher patterns have. When this right leg is lower instead of higher, yeah, there's just not the power to push it back up. But at the same time, we have power red in a low angle, we have power Zion in a low angle down, power, swing Zion in a low angle down, pink is low angle up, and we've got zip pink in a low angle up. There's just a lot of low angles in this one. And next day, in this case here, the next day with my white line, if you can see it, we do have a red peak. Red's at 65, yellow is, zip yellow is at 19. And so the next day it's going to go down. It does gap up next day, but it does go down. So we would have got out of there. I would have got out of that pattern at the end of that day and moved on to a different opportunity. Over here on the pink line on the left, I haven't talked much about the price chart, but all three of those are in a low angle up. The trend red is in a low angle up, and green, of course, is in a low angle down. And on the zip chart, we have green at 0, and pink has gone up higher, and Zion is flat, and both blue and yellow are in their second day of a low angle up. And just looking on in the power yellow, we're in a low angle up. So there's just a fair amount of divergence in this one as well. Swing Zion is low angle up, and swing pink looks like it's low angle down. Swing yellow is low angle up. No, pink is up too. Both pink and yellow and Zion, all three of them are up. That's a good indication. When you get all three up, that makes for a pretty good move. As long as I'm at that, I want to look at something here. And that is this, oh yeah, that is the swing gray. Look at swing gray. Swing gray is a deep cycle indicator. We're in a giant W pattern. Both bottoms are low angle down. And when you get something like that in the swing gray line, it's usually significant. And as you can tell, it looks like we climb about 10 days after this W pattern in the swing. You've probably listened or may not have, but you find the videos on the swing gray TOCs and BOCs. When swing gray is a TOC at the bottom, in other words, when swing gray is under 0, it's a low cycle. When it's above 0, it's a high cycle. So when swing gray is in a low cycle under 0 and you get a TOC pattern, the TOC pattern is a top of cycle or above 0 normal pattern. So that's a divergent situation. When you get a TOC under 0, that usually makes price volatile, and the reactions can be expected. You just got to follow the other whatever other signals that you see to address the situation. And obviously, with in this case here, swing gray is what is minus 7.5, so that's pretty strong down low, deep cycle low. And it obviously wasn't the lowest as far as the trend trio. Look at the trend trio was coming back up 7 days ago. So but the truth be told, by swing gray did not start up until the candle started up. So swing gray is a really good indicator. hope you recognize the pattern or the information that you can gather from swing gray. This next one is GILD, G-I-L-D, and all of these are basically from the summer of 2016. This first yellow one has has trend red in a low angle up, I guess. And again, we're dealing with a what appears to be a pink-green bottom with zip next to green. Zip pink is 1.8 with green at 0. Yellow and blue are at 6, gray is at 10, and red's at 14. And this is the day that the Zip Zion no longer is highest coming down. And so what happens is it goes up the next day. We have a low angle down in power red. We have a low angle down in swing red and our swing Zion. And I often forget to mention the big three, but those are the big three: trend red, power, and swing Zion. And pink and Zion are interchangeable. Sometimes pink is lowest and Zion is lowest, but most of the time Zion is the lowest one. When those three are down, you usually get a strong push back up. In this case here, the next day after this, on this green candle right here, what do we got? Zip chart. Got a red peak. We got zip red at 78 and zip yellow at 17. So that's a classic red peak pattern, and next day it's going to go down. I mean, we say high probability, but I tell you, red peaks and red spikes are, I don't know where the percentage is, but it's over 99 as far as I'm concerned. It is extremely high. You just gotta watch. You know, I've addressed a few exceptions, like when you have a red peak, sometimes it continues to go up, but it almost invariably the red peak that does not go down is involved with a large red pattern. And when you have a 5-day or a 15-day pattern in trend red, you often have it in other charts as well. And the more you have, the more large right leg W patterns, it's got to be a higher, right leg W higher, the better the uptrend is going to be. It's just phenomenal. All right, let me move on here. And the middle line, the red one, is a low angle up. In this case, power pink is a low angle up at the bottom. And the swing Zion is a low angle up. And also in this case, the zip, let me verify that. Zip gray is, zip gray is at 15. It's under red, so there's a good chance it should go up tomorrow. But you never know. In this case, here it gapped up, but it went down. Now I want you to notice one thing, because here is what some would say this is an exception to the rule. But I would not say it's an exception. It's just a case of not looking at the indicators. Right here, let me. I want to pull another vertical line and put it in place here, and I'm going to put this vertical line as a gray line. Now, when this gray line is right here, it's just about ready to cross over the green line, the trend green. And so trend red crosses over trend green and we get a green candle. So now trend red is above trend green, and as long as it stays above trend green, we're in an uptrend. Okay, well, you can go out here, here's to this peak right here. Trend red, even though it went up and down, it's above trend green. So we should have been in an uptrend, right? But we didn't, it didn't go up. We had many days of congestion and price was pretty flat. Why is that? The answer is look in the zip chart. Right there. Red peak. Red peak. Red peak. Red peak. There's 4 red peaks in about 8 days. That's what keeps your, you can say it's a battle between the bears and the bulls. Well, I can see it on the chart. When you run into red peaks, the price ain't going anywhere. Oh, here's another thing. I missed it. Look at where we're at. We just had a significant gap down. And it was 5, 6, 7, 8 days later, the red and green are going up, and we got congestion. And what's the rule that if you haven't heard me say it, I'll say it again. Avoid those areas right after real significant drops in price or increases in price, because the indicators appear not to be working right. And so what do we have here? We're in an uptrend. Red's above green. Price should be going up. The trend trio is going up. What's wrong? Well, it's a case of you're looking at the trend chart where trend red is going above green in the trio, and you're not looking at the zip chart where you had 4 red peaks. Or you're not looking at the fact it dropped down. It was at 88.85 and it ended the day at 81. Dropped $7 in one day on an $80 stock. I can't. The system is fantastic. It tells you what's happening, but you gotta read it. And that's the difference between one person and another person. If you can pay attention to the details, you can be significantly rewarded using this system. Now, the other key signal that I want to alert you to that we watch a lot is the zip yellow. Notice that the zip yellow line is staying low all the time in here, as is the power yellow. And I don't necessarily mean to connect those two right now, but when zip, like here, zip yellow is at 13. If zip yellow doesn't go above 20, it just bounces around under 20, the price usually does not go up. The same is true up here. Look at over on this side. We've got about 10, 12 days where zip yellow is bouncing around. Here it's at, zip yellow is at 90. Down on this low spot, zip yellow was 79. So it bounces around above 80 most of the time. Price, pretty flat. Went up right here at the end. But same thing is true here. What do you got in here? You got red spikes. 1, 2, 3, and actually a 4th. You always look at all the charts. Together, they're a fantastic tool. It is absolutely amazing. Last chart I have here is Texas Instruments, TXN. This first red line, red vertical line has, again, trend red in basically a spike down. But there's 4 or 5 low angle downs in the zip chart. Power red is in a low angle up, and zip red, and swing Zion is in a low angle down. Swing pink is in a low angle up. And so between the big four, you have a spike, and the other three are then Zip and Power are up, and Zion is down, but Pink is up. And whenever you have that congestion right in here on Zip, the Zip chart on those low angle down, some of them are down, some of them are up. I mean, there's 5 or 6 in there. There's yellow, blue, red, gray, and pink right now. And also up higher, Zip Zion is going down. And what do you end up seeing when you have this kind of situation? And also, I'll point out that power, I said that wrong, trend red is at 44, minus 44. So it's kind of, 40 is kind of like a magical number. You get down under 40, minus 30 works, but minus 40 really is effective. Minus 40 to minus 80 is probably the zone prime range, but you can go to about 170 or 180 and it's still good. I've seen a few over 250 or a few up to 250 that react and come back up right away. But I've commented before, if they get really deep, like minus 500, then chances are things are just too goofy. Watch it for a while before you do any investing in it. Here's one thing I want to point out to you that I've mentioned before. Next day, after this red vertical line, next day you have a red peak. The Zip red is at 98 and the Zip yellow is at 34. That's a red peak. It's going down tomorrow. But it doesn't, does it? You can see that it gaps up significantly the next day. Why is that? And that's the basic, that information is primarily in the DIFF, that stands for difference, and the divergent, DIVG category, excuse me, categories. The diff information is primarily in the divergence file in the documents index. It is in other scattered places as well, but we made an attempt to put much of it in there. And basic rules or ideas of the diff information, especially as it associates with Zip red, because Zip red is probably the fastest moving line in the system, and swing pink is the second fastest moving line. They're both leading indicators. If everything else is down and those two are up, it's probably going to be a green candle next day. But Zip red will move 90 points in one day. Zip pink won't, or swing pink will not do that. Zip red, we have a couple different categories. When Zip red moves 70 plus points, and Zip red ends up in the 80 to 90 range, Zip red will typically, the price will typically go down next day. When Zip red is 70 plus points and it is above 96, so in other words, we've seen it at 96 as well, even 95, but 97, 98, and 99 are the best ones, even 100. If your Zip red jumps 70 plus points and ends up at 97 through 100, the price, a high percentage of the time, goes up next day. Here's an example. Zip red right there on, I'm going to put this yellow line there, and that's the day I'm talking about. On the yellow vertical line, Zip red is at 98.22. On the red vertical line, click that, on the red vertical line, Zip red is at 13.98. So it basically goes from 14 all the way up to 98 in one day, and goes up again the next day. So those are some of the rules of the zip red diff issues that we lay out in writing, and you can print it and have it, or you can just keep listening to videos and become familiar about how and why things work. But remember, you're dealing with the big three in this example, and trend red is down, power red is low angle up, and Zion is low angle down. Now there's divergence between power red and swing Zion. But I want to emphasize to you that we're talking about the big three. I don't know why the big three have the power that they do. First of all, when you have the big three lowest at the bottom, each one is lowest, they typically go up for more than one day. Now, there's a lot of different forces within the market. If there wasn't, the indicators would all be going in the same direction. But some go up and some go down, and so we don't. I don't know what the forces are, but I can tell you I can track a lot of them, and how they function. We don't know why, but we can see it, and that's through the sensitive indicators, and it's just fantastic. I am just amazed at what can happen if you just begin to learn this system. Because as I mentioned before, one of the last things that we knew that the system was short, it failed to provide this item, and the item is market pressure strength, or market force strength. We could not tell how the strength of a push was moving the market, and we literally stumbled into pair synchronization, and we paired up the certain lines, and we revised and rebuilt many of those indicators to be more effective in their synchronization abilities. Zip gray and zip red are paired together, and when you have a spike down and zip gray is under zip red, there's a greater possibility of the uptrend next day occurring. And I don't know why, but I can read the indicators. They're powerful. They're absolutely amazing. I can't overemphasize that. This video that I've just completed is a classic example of how the indicators work, and I've just worked in one primary pattern, and that's the low angle down and low angle up patterns. I guess two patterns. So but they're both of those patterns are at the bottom. You have low angle up and low angle down on the peak as well, and I basically put those into one pattern group. But day trading visual basics has super sensitive indicators, and truly the sensitive indicators are the heart of the system.